This comment was made on my polygamy video where I talk about polygamy in the Bible and how we don't have good examples of polygamy working in the Bible. And we actually have examples, especially in the New Testament, of people being monogamous in their marriage, having just one spouse. But this person commented this passage where David had just got done murdering Uriah, the wife or the husband of Bathsheba, and now Bathsheba was pregnant and gave birth to a kid. And a prophet came to David and said, hey, God gave you all these things. Why did you go after Bathsheba? And it says, God's given you Saul's house, his wives into your arms. He's given you Israel and Judah. Why would you go after Bathsheba? But when we look at the context here, even though this is being used to support polygamy and saying, hey, God gave David multiple wives, we look at the context here, that's not what it's saying. Rather, it's saying, especially if you look at different translations, it's saying in the New American Standard Bible, 95 version, which is one of the most trusted word-for-word translations out there, it translates it as he's given Saul's wives into David's care. Not to be his wives, but rather take care of them, just like he's given Saul's house into David's care. That's now David's job to care for it, just like he's given Israel and Judah into David's care. That is the theme of this whole passage. It's not that David owns them, that they're now his, but rather he is the shepherd of these things. He's a caretaker of these things. When we look at Old Testament and the culture that was there, women needed men to survive. And so the wives of Saul, this was actually God saying, I'm providing, in a sense, I'm providing for these wives by having David take care of them because Saul and his sons died in battle. So there was no male there to take care of them and they weren't allowed to work. So they were left to either begging and sometimes even prostitution. And so this was God giving David control of all his master's things, but also kind of saying, hey, you have a responsibility to take care of them. David, as we see in scripture, he had 8 wives that we know of. None of the wives are any of Saul's wives that we know of, although one shares a name, same name, but it was like a daughter of a different guy, daughter of a different father, so it's not the same woman. So we see that David, from what we know, didn't take any of Saul's wives, but here, as the NASB puts it, David took care of them. God made sure that these wives were still provided for, even though their husband, Saul, had died in battle. But God's saying to David, I gave you all these things and you still wanted more. Why did you do that? And so this is not support for polygamy. It's communicating something else.